Thanks, Chris.
Take care,
We'll
Chris.
talk to you soon. Let's go to another Chris. Chris and Larry's been hanging on the line for a little while. Hi, Chris. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, Andy?
Good. What are you thinking this morning?
Wow, I don't even know where to start, honestly. I guess I called in last week, and I feel like a whole different person this week. I mean, you guys have kind of touched base with everything. I mean, the line, well, on both sides, the coaching, the switching, the running backs. But one thing that bothers me is that we have fair weather fans, and it's the first thing that I've ever heard being a Browns fan, to have bandwagon Browns fans. I get online as soon as the game's over, and I see nothing but negativity. I hear the Manziel, let's put Manziel in. Right. I mean, are people not watching the same game we're watching?
They're not, because I get the same people tweeting me and texting me as soon as the team plays bad. The one thing I'll say, when we win, Brian Hoyer doesn't get enough credit. When we lose, it's all his fault, no matter what. It's ridiculous.
Exactly, and I mean, and how do you feel about, you've seen that play with the ref, and then, I mean, that's what caused Houston
on the
to
touchdown?
Get a touchdown.
Yeah.
The pick on the touchdown play? I mean, it happens. Referees are there. You got to avoid them.
And to be honest with you guys, and you know this, there's certain teams that do run crossing patterns, not saying they're running to the referees, but they don't tell their guy not to use the referees. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're there, use them. It happens. I think Carlos Dansby not being in that play was bigger than the referee, to be honest.
I also don't know if Robertson gets over to the ball if the ref was there. I mean, it was probably it was another step. I think he was a step away from getting to the ball anyways. You with me on that one, Chris?
Yeah, I'm with you, and I also think that, I mean, everyone's excited about Gordon coming back. I'm excited about Gordon coming back. But the thing is with so many injuries and people being in and out, we can't have, one team, solid team to click every week. I mean, it seems like every week we have key injuries on both sides. And I don't see Gordon being, the guy that's gonna finish off our year. I mean, I'm excited to see a 6-4. I mean, it could be better. We played sloppy games, but I'm used to it. I'm a Cleveland Browns fan. But other than that, I mean, I don't know. They just need to straighten up their line on both sides. Otherwise, Hoyer's not going to complete nothing, and none of the running backs are going to be able to run the ball.
All right. Hey, Chris, thank you for the phone call. Good stuff. We'll talk to you next week. Please call in.
Read this real quick.
Okay.
When you're talking about Jordan Cameron.
Right.
You don't know. It's a tricky thing. You could have a guy be without symptoms for a day or two, then it comes back. It's obviously a touchy subject, and I defer very much to our athletic director. Jordan Cameron ain't coming back soon.
Our athletic trainers, you mean?
Yeah. I'm sorry. I was just trying to read it real quick. When I read that Friday and heard it, that doesn't sound like Jordan Cameron's playing anytime soon.
Yeah. All right, let's we'll wrap things up here. We'll get things done. Let's just go to Faith Boone real quick, and then we'll go to Garrett Downing. Faith, what are they saying on Twitter? What's the one word?
Well, they weren't really doing the one word anymore. We started doing more grades because I noticed that when you guys do grades, do you ever do an overall grade?
Doing a what grade?
An overall grade.
Overall?
Yeah.
I think Kenny Rhoda gave him an F.
Well, yeah, not just Kenny. Kenny was pretty obvious. Kenny,
they failed. I mean, if pass fail, it's an F. There's no question.
Yeah.
I mean, you can take Mike Patton's words on this. F.
Well, I asked people on Twitter to give us an overall grade, and lots of Fs, definitely more Fs. Kenny was really riled up, wasn't he?
Yeah. Kenny didn't need coffee this morning. Kenny was ready to go.
I don't think Kenny ever needs coffee. He's very entertaining, so at least with that.
All right. Well, Faith, we appreciate it, and we'll make sure that.
Wait, one more thing.
Go ahead.
I found a funny picture on Instagram that I sent to Eric that he's going to show.
Oh, nice.
And it's this lady. She is at the game. Yeah, she was at the game and sent this out later. And it's that she was praying for something to happen in the game, and just she didn't get her wish. Her prayers were not answered.
Welcome to being a Browns fan. Nice picture, though.
I got to tell you, when I'm praying world peace is first, Browns are not up there.
Yeah, world peace, my kids getting to college, Browns
mortgage, bills, food.
Yeah, good meal today.
I mean, yes, I want them to win, and yes, I would say that I was praying for them to win, but sometimes I think about big things in life when I start to pray.
So should I watch the next game, guys?
Well, they lost. If you didn't watch yesterday, you can go ahead and watch.
They're in Atlanta. One thing I'll say about the Georgia Dome is like going to a club.
Oh, isn't it?
Yes, Georgia Dome is unlike any other place in the world when it comes to a game.
Especially when you go to church there.
Yes.
It nachos while you're at church.
Yeah, that's
nice. All right, well.
That actually happened.
You learn a little something about Dogs in the Hood.
All right, thank you, Faith. We'll talk to you soon.
Take
Great
care,
job this
Faith.
week.
Bye.
Appreciate it. All right, we're going to wind things down here. We're going to go to Garrett Downing from Ravens.com. Hi, Garrett. How are you?
Hey, fellas, how you doing?
Hey, do you have any way to describe the North? Because I can't figure it out.
Unpredictable. I mean, I think I used the analogy on the show a couple weeks ago. I mean, with talking with the Steelers, I called them Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I think you could really say that for a lot of the teams in the division. I think this is a division where teams are going to beat each other up, and then they're going to win most of their games outside the division. I hear you guys talk about Atlanta. I absolutely think the Browns can go down to Atlanta and win next week. I don't think Atlanta has a win against a non-NFC South team this year. And we've played 3 of the 4 teams in the NFC South. We have the Saints coming up this week. And just in watching those games, I just feel like it's a totally different brand of football in the AFC North compared to the NFC South. And Steve Smith said it. He spent his entire career there before coming here. He basically called it a finesse division. So, if there's any light at the end of the tunnel after yesterday's game for the Browns, I think it would be that I definitely do think they can go down to Atlanta and win next week.
Yeah, I think they win next week, Garrett. What do the Ravens work on during this bye week? Are they trying out cornerbacks from left and right? What are they trying to accomplish with this week off?
Well, I think the biggest, the reality is they're kind of stuck with what they have in the defensive backfield. There's not a lot of good cornerbacks that are sitting out there on the street right now at week 11 at this point of the season. There's just not. So you kind of have to roll with what you've got. I think on the flip side of things, they're trying to figure out how to get this offense more consistent. It's been up and down throughout the first 10 games of the season. Joe Flacco, really, they need to figure out how to get him to avoid the kind of mistakes and inconsistencies that he had in the final 3 games heading into the bye. I mean, he can be so good against Tampa. He threw 5 touchdowns, in the time that it took me to go get a cup of coffee in the press box. I mean, it was like that. So they need, and then he comes back and he couldn't really get anything going against the Bengals and the Steelers. So they need to figure out how to avoid those inconsistencies, and that's what Gary Kubiak said. He was digging in, going back and look at everything from the first 10 games to figure out how to avoid those inconsistencies. And the Ravens now they go down to New Orleans. They got to play a tough Monday night game down there. I'm not sure what I really think of New Orleans, but on a Monday night primetime atmosphere, I think they're going to be a tough team to beat in the Dome.
J.J. Watt, best defensive player, best player in the NFL.
Definitely best defensive player. I mean, best player, you put him up against a guy like Aaron Rodgers, I'm not sure. I think he's the most dominant player. He absolutely can take over a game. I mean, I watched the Browns game yesterday. I was actually back in Ohio, back in Columbus on our bye week, and I watched that. And, he just takes over a game. I mean, he can absolutely manhandle players. He can score touchdowns on offense. I don't know if there's a better... You can make a really good case that he's the MVP this year, and he's definitely the best defensive player in the NFL.
All right, Garrett, go back to work. Try to sneak us some plans for that last week of the season.
It's still going to be a big game, Garrett.
Thanks,
I think
guys.
it's going to be a big game.
It's still going to be a big game. I truly believe it.
Yeah.
Garrett.
Oh, it's going to come down to that week, no question.
All right, thank you very much. Appreciate it. We'll talk to you soon. Garrett Downing checking in from Ravens.com.
Take
Make
care,
sure you read
Garrett.
them. Eric, the referee, ready to wind this thing down here?
Yes, we got our fan of the week here.
Let's see the fan of the week. Oh, that's cool.
Oh,
That is
Little
sent in
guy.
by Aline Sellers Clugston via Facebook. And if you want to try to be the fan of the week, just go to our Facebook page and use the hashtag Dogs on the Run.
And what do you win? A big bag of air?
A big bag of air.
That's awesome.
we're still giving that away?
Oh, we're still giving away.
We got more left?
We got a lot of
We got
bags
more
left.
left?
Lot of
Hey,
bags.
we have it.
Lot of bags.
I got to tell you, we pull out all the expenses on this show. What else do we got, Eric?
We got some captions for you guys
All right,
to
let's
create.
go.
Yeah.
Go ahead first.
Oh, blank.
I'm going to eat you.
Yeah. That guy's, look at his arms. He's amazing.
Get in my belly.
Get in my belly. His story is phenomenal. And I know people were getting mad that everybody's talking about him. He is one of the best players in NFL. And for kids out there, he went to Central Michigan as a tight end. Sat out. He said he knew that wasn't for him. Sat out and delivered pizza, and his parents helped pay for Wisconsin. And he worked his tail off, and look where he's at.
And did you hear him this week, like leading up to the Browns? He's like, man, I can't wait to play in cold weather, man.
Right.
I've been waiting.
He's a Wisconsin kid, yeah.
Yeah, he was just waiting.
I mean, and I
Did you
think
see him John with the fans at one point there? I thought that was kind of
I
funny.
thought that was cool. I love him, and I think his story is great. He wasn't one of those 5-star athletes. He wasn't one of those Urban Meyer flying all around the country to get him. He's worked his tail off to get where he's at.
What else we got, Eric?
All right,
Anything
our
else?
other caption?
Yeah, go ahead.
I love you, buddy. Oh, that's Manziel. That's not Hoyer.
Yeah, that actually, Hoyer went up and
Yeah, before the game.
yeah, he went before, and he also Bill O'Brien too. He also hugged Bill O'Brien too.
I think that they're saying right there, I'll see you in Vegas in January.
Are they friends or
Manziel's friends with, who doesn't want to be friends with Johnny Manziel?
Johnny Jam Boogie, man. What else you got? Any more?
Final thoughts.
All right, let's hit that magic button. Final thoughts.
They beat Atlanta, and I think Josh Gordon scores a touchdown. This season, I think Mike Karen said it really well last night, Ford Sports Sunday. These next 2 weeks are very important. You go to Buffalo the following week, and I think that's a loss because their defensive line is really good. But I said this last night, I'm going to stick to it. This season still will come down to the final 2 weeks. So relax, everybody. I don't think, and I'll be honest, I don't think they're a playoff team, but this season has been 10, and unless they totally go into tank, this season's been 10 times better than I thought it would be.
At this point, it's definitely a success. I don't care how you want to look at it. I mean, the fact that they were in first place this late in the season is already, and this is how low the bar is, right?
Yeah, for sure.
That's how low the bar is. So I thought when they were walking into the season, they had no wide receivers. They had nothing. I didn't think they had anything.
I agree.
I had question marks on the defense. They took out a couple guys that we liked and respected, and DeQuell Jackson.
Good moves, though.
Yeah, and they both turned out to be good.
I didn't like it, but they were good moves. Hey, speaking of
TJ
injuries,
Ward, too. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Is Taylor Gabriel not one of the? I mean, is he not having
Great
a
story.
Great story.
Yeah.
Andrew Hawkins, great story. But great stories don't win football games. And not to be me,
Oh, they're just
but they're
good
great stories. They're great stories. But you need Josh Gordon back. You need Jordan. The depth of this team is going to show up. I think at the end of this season, guys, we're going to say, especially if they don't have Dansby and Sheard this week and you're already without Phil Taylor, I'm worried about the depth. Hey, every team's like that right now. You just heard Garrett talk about cornerbacks from Baltimore.
I think my final thought on this, I think Mike Pettin and the staff, they were rookies yesterday.
Yes.
They showed that they were rookies yesterday. I don't know where the aggressive attitude went. I don't know how they played like that yesterday. I don't know how you come out flat again. I'll keep saying it until I'm blue in the face. How you can come out flat for the third time this year with extended time off. That doesn't make any sense to me. No, there was no drive. They just let J.J. Watt run all over them yesterday. The offensive line, Alex Mack was worth every penny. There's no question about it.
Let me ask a stupid question as we leave. If you had your druthers, would you prefer to get Alex Mack back this week or Josh Gordon?
At this point, I'd rather have Alex Mack back.
Me too. And I can't believe
That's a great question.
Use it. That's a great radio question.
Well, you can use that too.
Yeah, you do it at 10, I'll do it at 3.
All right, you do that at 3. We'll start.
Don't anybody tell anybody.
Eric, the referee, last thought.
All right, just two big things to look for today. The MRI from Carlos Dansby. Hearing possible reports that he has an MCL sprain, so that would not be good.
MCL sprain, though, would be 2 to 4 weeks probably. ACL or the other one's out
better than an ACL, for sure.
But it would be bad.
And also, Josh Gordon coming back this week is going to be huge.
Yeah, that's going to be a story. You know what? I can't think of a better week for him to come back after watching yesterday's crappy game.
No doubt.
And that was the first thing I thought of when I walked in the locker room yesterday because, I mean, it was pretty depressing in there yesterday. And I'm like, you know what? Josh Gordon's coming back. That's going to be the story. And people are going to go back to what Ray Farmer said 3 weeks ago about him. Or 2 weeks ago.
Wow.
We're going to have to integrate him into the system. All right, that's it. Eric, the referee. Way to go today. It was a pleasure to talk to you.
Good job, boys.
What do you got coming up?
I'll be out the Hooley House starting at 3 o'clock. Jabal Sheard's supposed to show up, but with the ankle foot injury, who knows? We'll also find out about his injury later on today. That could be big, guys. I know he's not the best player on the team, but they didn't have any pass rush yesterday, and he came in yesterday's game 10th in pressures in the NFL.
I've got radio 10 to 2, 92.3 The Fan. I'll be over there all week. I think I'm back for high school football on Friday.
Do we have Buckeyes Saturday here?
No, the game is at noon. They still have not announced television yet. I've not seen TV. I'm assuming it's Big Ten Network this year because they haven't had a lot of games. And tomorrow I'll be at Public Hall for a forum with the Cavaliers.
Oh, yeah.
It'll be fun. Len Komrosky's going to be
Your
there.
face is on a flyer. I saw it.
Oh, you saw it?
Yeah, I saw
Did you
it.
throw pictures?
No, I took it to the bathroom. I was in the bathroom. Like, oh, look, there's
stop
another
right there,
basket.
man. You don't have to say anything. You're good to go.
Yo, did you see Andy Baskin, the plain dealer, on the cartoon? Did you see that?
Yeah, why didn't you put that up?
Yeah, why did you put that in
me on
there?
the spot here.
We can put a
Yeah, go ahead.
caption.
You
You brought it up.
Yeah, you can take the music
Take the
out.
music out. We're
We're
still
in overtime.
We're still overtime.
Do we have the overtime?
We're not
thing?
going deep overtime. Come on, Eric. Look
Yeah,
at it.
come on, just
Keep
go
that
to-
camera on Eric as we do this.
Go to
Look at
the-
him frantically working.
It's probably easier to see on Facebook.
You brought it up, E, not us. But now that you brought it up, I got to see it. I was literally, for the other one, though, I was literally in a meeting at Clear Channel or iHeartMedia, whatever we're called now.
For the Cavaliers thing?
Yeah, and I literally, and then I literally was like, stop.
Here's
There
the-
it is.
There it is. By the way, anyone that asks you, that is not my son. That is my nephew.
Yes.
That's in the corner. He just graduated from
You're not
Ohio
that
State.
old. Hello, Andy Baskin. When can I expect to see Manziel? That's great. It would have been better, and I love you. You can punch me when I say this.
Yeah.
It would have said, hello, Andy Baskin, and you would have said, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Mayor. I love it. You should have started
That was
the
an
show
actual
with
phone
this.
call from last week.
I know, I'm sure.
That was an actual phone call. I'm like, just stop.
You should have started the show
I
with
should
this,
have.
E.
I just remembered.
Well, you should have that a part of our show from now on. That's awesome.
That's bad producing. Eric, the referee, you're done for a week. All right,
I'm
we're
fired.
out of here. We'll see you later. We got to go. Bye.
Bye. Oof, oof.